Well, there, good day, my friends. Welcome to this month's edition of the Shepherd's Voice, and I want to welcome you and thank you for being here. Turn it over to the host of the program, the Bishop of Trenton, Bishop David M. O'Connell. Welcome, Bishop.
Thank you, Jim, and greetings, everybody. Hope everybody is well as we begin another new month, the month of October. And it's a special month. I like October very much because it's a time when we renew our devotion to our Blessed Mother, Queen of the Rosary, and encourage people really to say this beloved prayer. You know, for centuries, the Rosary has been a source of grace and of peace and spiritual strength and comfort to the faithful. It goes all the way back to St. Dominic, that's what tradition tells us, in the beginning of the 13th century, who says the Blessed Mother appeared to him and talked to him about the Rosary and offered it to him as a very powerful weapon against sin and a powerful opportunity for deep union with her Son. And the Rosary in its current forms, as you know, is 15 mysteries, the joyful, the sorrowful, and the glorious. And it was formally established by Pope Pius V in 1569. So we're dealing with something that really goes way, way back. In 2002, as you know, Pope St. John Paul II added the luminous mysteries. He wanted to enrich the devotion, and he invited us to think about the public life of Jesus in these 5 mysteries. So 20 mysteries all told. And through every decade as we pray them, you know, we go through the life, the death, the resurrection of Christ, but we go through those in a special way because we see those mysteries through the eyes of the Blessed Mother, who was with Jesus in all those major moments of his life. This month, October 7th, we mark the Feast of the Rosary, and the entire month is dedicated to this beautiful prayer. This year, Pope Leo, at his general audience on September 24th, I think it's toward the end of the month, he called on all Catholics to pray the Rosary this year, every day, through this month, to have as our intention peace in our troubled world. This is something that really weighs heavily on his mind and heart. And the Pope said in that audience, you know, I invite everybody to pray the Rosary every day during the coming month, the month of October, personally, and pray with your families and pray with communities. And as we know, we look around the world, there's such terrible unrest. And so he's offering us this prayer as a means of asking our Lord, through his Blessed Mother, to bring peace to the world. But this also, Jim, is, and everyone, is Respect Life Month each year. We just celebrated at the cathedral in Trenton a Mass for Life. I celebrated that Mass, and Father Bishop Kevin Sweeney of Patterson preached a very nice homily. The cathedral here in Trenton was packed, full. You couldn't get another person in there. And that always makes me very happy because it shows the commitment that people have to this. And that Mass is for all 5 dioceses of Trenton. Bishop Cecchio couldn't be there because that was the day they announced that he was going to be made the bishop in New Orleans. He's coadjutor bishop there. He'll succeed when Bishop Aymon, Archbishop Aymon, retires. So he couldn't be there. Cardinal Tobin had asked me to cover for him because he had another commitment that he had to make. You know, the cardinal has so many obligations in Rome. So he's frequently going back and forth to Rome because he serves on some of the departments. They call them dicasteries of Rome. But Respect Life Month, it's a time when all of us are called upon to reflect upon the sacredness of human life. Get that, the sacredness of human life, from conception to natural death and everywhere in between. I think, you know, there's no better way to uphold the dignity of life than through the intercession of the Mother of Life, the Blessed Mother. The Rosary is that powerful prayer. And we think of life, we're thinking of many things. We're thinking of the unborn. We're thinking of the vulnerable. We're thinking of the suffering. We're thinking also of the victims of violence. There's no lack of that in our country, as we know. and the war. There's so many wars going on out in the world. We pray for the dying. We pray for the conversion of hearts and the healing of our culture, which is so very important. I myself, I pray the rosary every day. In fact, I just finished it right before coming, getting in the car and coming here. It's really one of my most beloved devotions. And I'll tell you, for me as bishop, it allows me to lift up to our Lord through his Blessed Mother's intercession all the many intentions that are given to me. You know, when I travel frequently around the diocese, sometimes I amaze myself as how far and wide I go during the course of the average week and month. But many times I will see parishioners will come up to me with tears in their eyes asking me to pray for their children, pray for their children's return to the church, pray for their spouses and others in their families who are sick or suffering, pray for those who have died. So many intentions are given to me. And, you know, maybe people sometimes say, oh, well, he just says it. I do remember each and every one of those intentions. Someone asks me to pray, and I say, I will. And the rosary to me, is a beautiful way to be able to do that. I encourage everybody, the clergy, especially religious, consecrated women and men, and especially our lay faithful, to embrace this prayer anew. You may have said it when you were younger or in other contexts and kind of let it slide. Pick it up again. Pick up those rosary beads, and whether you're young or old, a saint or a sinner, the rosary's for you. And if you're unfamiliar with the rosary, people listening and they're unfamiliar with it, Google it. Just go on the computer and Google it, and you'll find all the information you could possibly need, how to say it. In fact, if you YouTube it, you'll find recordings of the rosary being prayed, and you can pray along with that. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And if you pray the rosary already, I would encourage you to share it with others. Talk about it. Teach your children. Pray with your families. Bring it to your parishes and communities. And I think it's important for all of us to unite in October, especially this October, in a great chorus of praying the rosary, asking Our Lady, as the Pope has requested, asking Our Lady to intercede for peace in our world, and this month in a special way for protection of all life, from conception to natural death, and really for the grace to follow her Son more faithfully. The rosary can be a refuge and a strength and a guide, but it always leads us to the heart of Mary's Son, now and to the end of our lives, the hour of our death. Amen.
Amen. I'll make a little pitch, because we do broadcast the rosary 4 times a day here on the station. So 5:30 in the morning, 9:30 in the morning, 3:30 in the afternoon, and again 9:30 at night. And I always think, if people who are listening at the time, all the rosaries that are being prayed at the same time.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a great opportunity. So you're not just sitting in your room praying the rosary by yourself, but if you're praying along with us here at those times, you're praying with many, many other brothers and sisters. I remember, Bishop, you remember too, in 1962 during the Cuban Missile Crisis, my parents taking us kids, all of us, in the living room and just praying a rosary for those
really
10
got
days.
A renewed start
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
And it was that time, and people were frightened.
Yeah.
You know, you remember, I think we've mentioned this before, you know, going into the school and hiding under the desk.
Under the desk, put your hands over your head.
Those great big cans from the military, from the army, those green cans of water. And everybody's everybody's so concerned that
the fallout shelters.
Yeah, the world was going to come to an end.
Yeah.
And perhaps all those prayers.
Well, you got to give credit where credit's due, right?
I think so. I think that is so important. Yeah. And I think it can be that again for us if we let it. Yeah, the rosary is so beautiful.
And it is a powerful, powerful prayer. And I make a point, I go into our chapel here, and we have it on our free mobile app, friends. So if you don't have your Domestic Church Media free mobile app, get it, because the rosary is on there. You can pray along anytime with it. And I sit in the chapel and put it through our Bluetooth speaker, so I'm praying along with the people praying.
You know, a few years ago, I went to St. Paul's Church and School in Princeton. At their request. I think maybe Monsignor Rosie was pastor at the time. but they asked if I would come and lead the children in the rosary. And
I
they
remember that,
They
yeah.
made a CD.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? CD.
Yes, CD. Mm-hmm.
And made that available to people
Mm-hmm.
who prayed the rosary. It was
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Beautiful
yeah,
thing.
yeah. And it is a prayer that, we probably one of the first prayers we learned as a child in a Catholic home is the Hail
Absolutely.
Mary, and so we know the prayers.
Absolutely. Carrying the rosary beads, and I have rosary beads. So many pairs of rosary beads that I've gotten over the years. People give them to me. People when I travel somewhere. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
of course I've had rosary beads from all the most recent popes.
Mm-hmm.
From visits. That's the gift the Pope gives
Right,
you
they
when
give us
you
the rosary. Yeah.
when you greet him and when you. And I have. I remember one time I went over. Who was the Pope at the time? I think it might have been Benedict.
Mm-hmm.
Benedict, who I have such great love for, and I was there doing some crazy bishop thing, and he sent over to me. I knew him over the years, and he sent over. He knew I was in town. I had greeted him earlier. He sent over to me a box full of rosaries.
Oh.
And the rosaries in a little packet with his coat of arms on it
Okay. Yeah.
for me to distribute or give out to when I went back to Trenton. It was so
okay.
thoughtful of him.
Yeah.
And of course, when people heard that I was giving these out, everybody wanted them.
Sure.
So it was great. I hope they all kept saying them.
Yeah. Well, you were kind enough to share a rosary that John Paul had given to you.
Yeah.
With me here, and that's the rosary I pray in the chapel
Yeah,
every day.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
also we were given one when we met Pope Francis, and he gave us,
Yeah,
passed
gave
it.
us
So we have the Pope Francis rosaries in there too. So
Yeah, we got Pope Francis, Pope John Paul. Pope. It's funny that those rosaries that I got from Pope John Paul. Did I ever tell you this story?
no.
So I go over. It's the first time that I have. I was at St. John's University, where I just gave a talk there this week, and went at that time. The Pope had a morning mass, Pope John Paul, and he would allow people to come to the morning mass. Usually, a lot of priests would come, and he'd have 8 or 10 priests. So after the mass, you went into the library, and his secretary, who was Monsignor Jevish at the time, now Cardinal Jevish in Poland, now retired, I think. You don't realize how time flies.
I don't know.
So you lined up in the library, and Jevish, he was a brilliant guy. He asked your names before mass, and he didn't write anything down. And then when the Pope would come by, he would tell the Pope,
Wow.
who you were. So he was going down the line, and I was standing there, and Jevish, Monsignor Jevish, this is Father O'Connell. He is from America. And the Pope just went, oh, America. I said, oh, my first chance to meet the Pope, and that's what I get out of it. And he handed me a rosary. But next to me was a young, newly ordained Polish priest and his mother and father.
Okay.
So I'm standing there, and I get the,
Yeah.
and they got the kiss and the hug, and they're all
I'm
Polish and
sure.
everything. I said, boy, but it was still. I met him a couple times afterwards. He certainly made up for it. That's
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's funny.
Yeah. Well, we got the month of October upon us. The leaves are starting to change. I was talking with someone the other day, someone in Washington, on my committee for education, and he and his wife are going up to New England
Mm-hmm.
this weekend. I thought it was maybe too early to see the leaves, but they apparently got
It up there, yeah.
leaves
Yeah,
are up there
yeah.
around.
Mhm.
Beautiful. Not so much around here, but it'll come soon.
Yeah.
Where I live, I'm in a wooded area.
Mm-hmm.
I own 6 acres of trees and woods and
Mhm.
everything else,
Mhm.
and animals, all kinds of animals.
Yeah.
And once the changing, it becomes so beautiful
Mm-hmm.
just to sit there and just look at.
Yeah. Well, we too we're surrounded by
Yeah, you're here.
trees here, and there's when they're all at full color, and the sun is at an angle coming out of the west. It's like almost like lights are turned on.
Yeah,
It's
it's amazing.
beautiful. And you know what I always think about, Bishop, that's the process of their dying.
Yeah,
they're the most beautiful when they're dying, really,
Yeah.
in that sense,
Yeah,
because
that's right. Because of soon enough they'll all be falling off the
right,
trees. And,
right. But just all that those colors are just glorious.
yeah. Did you ever find out what's next door? What's being built next door to you here?
Oh, across the, I don't know
What?
what that is.
It's on the.
What do
As you're going out, it's on the right. It's a
Yeah, I don't
beautiful
know.
building.
They're brand new, and it looks like it's finished, but
But they don't have any
not,
signs of what it is. I
nobody's
keep
there.
wondering
I don't know either.
because it's built in a kind of an
It was a
interesting way.
township building. I'm assuming it still is, but I don't know what it's going to be used for.
Yeah,
It's
nothing's in
bigger.
it yet.
No,
Yeah,
no,
see that.
bigger. Yeah.
Well, we'll find that out. Sorry, folks. I just wanted to ask that. Well, tomorrow is the feast of Saint Francis.
Yes.
You're one of the most beloved saints in the church,
Mhm.
Saint Francis of Assisi, born in the 12th century, late 12th, and lived and worked in the early 13th century in Assisi. He was the founder of the Franciscans and many, many varieties of Franciscans throughout the world. And he was the son of a wealthy family. It's interesting.
Mhm.
And he lived a good life as any rich young man would. But he somehow became enamored by the poor in the course of his
Mhm.
life and devoted himself really to serving the poor, rejecting, in a sense, all the opportunities provided by his family and his heritage, and did great things, wonderful things. We recognize him probably when we think of him, or when you see statues. You see statues on people's lawns
Right.
or in gardens.
He's probably in the top 5 of favorite saints, I
Yeah,
think.
I would say so. If he's not
Yeah.
at the top, he's certainly close to it.
Yeah.
But you always see him with birds,
Yep.
holding his hand with a bird
Mhm.
on it, or
Mhm.
and he is, I think, has really become the patron of the ecological movement.
Mhm.
As we have been pursuing that, the issue of climate change that comes up and all that goes with that,
Mhm.
and people look to him as their patron for that. But he's the patron of so many things. He's the patron of the poor. He's the patron of animals. He's the patron of so many different things. That's another thing you always see with animals and deer and all of this other
Mhm.
business. And a lot of parishes, I know that's certainly true in the Diocese of Trenton, on the feast of St. Francis or close to the feast of St. Francis, they invite their parishioners to bring their pets.
Right. Blessing of the
And then they have
animals.
the blessing of the animals and
Yeah.
the blessing of the pets. That's always
Mhm.
a beautiful thing. And being with you today, it gives me the opportunity really to wish our Franciscans. We have many Franciscans in the diocese, and they're just wonderful, good priests. St. Francis himself was never ordained a priest.
Right.
He was a deacon,
Right.
and he was ordained a deacon so that he could preach the
Mhm.
gospel, because
Yeah.
the law of the church restricts the preaching. And we have the Francis the Order Friars Minor at LBI, the St. Francis Parish there.
Mhm.
Beloved guys, Father Fernando Espino, and he's the pastor of that parish. Wonderful man, and so many others. We have in Point Pleasant the conventual Franciscans. Father Bob Schlageter, Robert Schlageter, is the pastor there, and actually, Father Schlageter was with me all 12 years at Catholic U. He was
Oh.
the chaplain.
Mhm.
He came with me to Catholic U, and
Mhm.
and then I left, and he left, and then he went off to somewhere to be a pastor and
Mm.
work for the order. And then, just by coincidence, a couple of years ago, his order said, "We're sending him to you as pastor."
Oh.
So I love having him. I don't see him
Good.
as much as I'd like, but
Good.
I wish him well, and his
Mhm.
confreres, his friars, and Father Mike Lorenzen, and down at what do you call it, Seaside, and that is kind of a little small retirement home that I established with the order
Mhm.
for Franciscans, for the conventual Franciscans. And of course, we have lay Franciscans, and we have all kinds of. We have sisters. We have the
Yeah.
Port Clares
Mhm.
in Chesterfield, and so I wish all of our Franciscans a blessed day, and I thank them for their prayers, for their witness, for their service in the
Mhm.
diocese.
Yeah.
Let's see. Coming up, Jim, we have this Sunday the Red Mass, and this is a mass. I usually say it every year, and sometimes I can't say it for one reason or another. But the Red Mass is a mass that's celebrated annually for members of the legal profession,
Mm-hmm.
lawyers, judges, staff, really to seek God's guidance and blessings at the start of the judicial year. And that's
Mhm.
usually the first Monday in October is the
Mhm.
tradition when the Supreme Court begins its new year. It's called the Red Mass because of the red vestments that are worn by the clergy. That symbolizes the flames of the Holy Spirit. It's Mass of the Holy Spirit. Those masses are always celebrated. The red vestments are worn at those masses. So it took on the name, the Red Mass. The Mass itself, it honors St. Thomas More. St. Thomas More was the patron of lawyers and invokes the wisdom and courage that we need in the legal profession in the pursuit of justice. The Mass, the invitation is sent out to judges, to lawyers, to public officials, to law faculties, and so on. Both the civil lawyers as well as the canon lawyers are invited to come. So I have that Mass down at St. Michael's in West Long Branch.
Mm-hmm.
It's at 10 o'clock on October 5th, this
Mhm.
coming Sunday. So
Sunday,
all are welcome. Later on in the same day, we have great tradition in the diocese, the anniversary blessings for those who've been married 25, 50 or more years. And in between, I mean, everybody's welcome to celebrate the sacrament of marriage and their time together. And that'll be at our cathedral here in Trenton on October 5th on Sunday, same day, at 3 o'clock. That's a Sunday Mass. It used to be just a blessing and a ceremony,
Mm-hmm.
but I said to the folks, I said, people have to go to Mass, and now
Right.
they're coming. Why not have the Mass for them
Exactly.
and make it a little bit convenient for
Mhm.
them? So we changed that, and that's great. And I have the opportunity to impart the blessings, and then we have some priests who will be present if people want individual blessings. We have 2 Sundays when we do this.
Mm-hmm.
This coming Sunday is for Mercer and Burlington County, and it will be held. The Mass will be held at the cathedral, as I mentioned. Then 2 Sundays from now, the week after Labor Day, Columbus Day,
Mm-hmm.
it will be held in the Co-Cathedral, and that will be for folks from Monmouth and Ocean County.
Mm.
The Mass itself, the Mass at the cathedral usually is not that well attended. You might get about 70 couples that would come, but the Mass at the Co-Cathedral is jammed. It's filled there, and it's just a wonderful way to celebrate the sacrament of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
So those who are out there, just come on down, and we'll be happy to give you our blessing. October 8th, we have in the diocese, although it's not a diocesan organization, it certainly is touches people in the diocese, the Interfaith Caregivers of Mercer County. Have you heard of that? That's
No.
a group that's been around for a while, and they have their. This is the time of galas.
Yeah.
So a lot of organizations are having their fundraising galas
Right.
end of September and the beginning of October before Christmas comes, and they have what's called their Shining Lights Gala, and that's on the 8th, October the 8th, and it's at Mercer Oaks between 6 and 9 o'clock, and it's ecumenical in nature, and people are certainly welcome to go to that, to get tickets and go to that. Go online, Interfaith Caregivers, and it'll give you the information that you need, and that's the 8th. On October 11th, we have the 100th anniversary of the Trenton Diocese PTA, Parent Teachers
Oh, really?
Association. So this year, I think maybe the 30th gathering like this, I think. If not, forgive me. But that'll be over at the Co-Cathedral. Mass will be at 9 o'clock. I'll celebrate that Mass. And then it's followed by a nice breakfast, and they have a speaker, and they have A good opportunity for folks to get together and talk and exchange, I guess what you call best practices, what's going on in the different parishes. So folks are welcome to attend that. Then we have Columbus Day, a day off on Monday, which is great. I love, they used to jam up my schedule
Yeah, right.
with and I said, stop it. It's Columbus Day. It's a day off. Let people enjoy the day off.
Right.
And so we close the chancery on that day.
Good.
We have Catholic Schools Mass. Every year, this is a great tradition in the diocese. And it will be on October 16th. I think that's Thursday. It's at 10:30 at the Co-Cathedral. And then at that Mass, we invite all of the schools to send students, send representatives, teachers, and so on and so forth to come together. And it's a great celebration, great opportunity to celebrate Catholic schools. The Associate Superintendent of Catholic Schools, Dan O'Connell, he arranges it, and he does a wonderful job. It's a lot of work for him. This year, there's a little bit of a wrinkle in it, and that is because of the school shootings that have occurred and the notoriety given them.
Yeah.
Parents are a little bit edgy.
Yeah.
Understandably so. I have arranged to my office, security office, lots of security to be with us that day, and we have a whole program of protection. Still, parents, they're calling in and they're upset, and my message to them is, if you're afraid, don't send the child.
Right. Exactly.
Don't send them.
Yep.
You got to have peace of mind, but we certainly will have lots and lots of security there and protection, and some will be very visible and some will not be so visible.
Yeah.
But we'll try to keep our children and our folks safe. But it's a shame you even have to think about that.
Think about that, right?
And I myself, I must tell you, I am concerned even when I go to a public event, because you never know. People are crazy. The world is crazy.
Yeah.
I always have security guards with me when I go, when I travel. Anyway, at that Mass, at that Catholic Schools Mass this year, we're having something very wonderful. We're beginning what we're calling the Lumen Gentium Award, and it's a special award that we give to one school, that are doing outstanding work and outstanding service. You're familiar with the Blue Ribbon of Excellence from Well, they're not giving that out anymore.
Oh, no.
Department of Education has stopped that.
Oh, they have.
So it's a happy coincidence that we've developed this award, and we plan to do it. So we'll give it out at the Catholic Schools Mass to one of our schools and celebrate them. So that's a great thing. Mission Sunday coming up. The Papal Nuncio, Cardinal Christophe Pierre, has written to me and asked me to really promote Mission Sunday and encourage people to be as generous as possible with our missions. We have in our diocese, we have a Pontifical Mission Office headed by Father P.J. Allen Dogan, who's the pastor over at St. Veronica's in Howell. And it's an opportunity really for us to concentrate on the mission. Do you remember when we were little, we had the little mission,
the mite boxes.
The little mite boxes and all of that.
Save the pagan babies, they would tell us.
Yeah, that's right. There's a bunch of them running around with my name on it. You could name them.
That's right.
Depending on how much you gave, right?
That's right. That's right.
But that's certainly, it's an extension of the philosophy that was behind that, and that's to support the missions. That weekend, October 19th. The Mount Carmel Guild, which is a wonderful organization of service and care for the poor and the sick, will be celebrating their annual fundraising gala on October 24th at the Trenton Country Club. And at that gala, like at the Catholic Charities last month, and they pick certain people out to honor and to give recognition who have been particularly helpful. We look forward to that. October 25th, and we're really whipping through this month, aren't we? October 25th.
Busy month.
Yeah. I've got to get miles on my car to see if we can get that processed.
You better.
But we have the Regional Altar and Rosary Society Mass, nice tradition, October 25th at 10:30. And this year it's going to be at St. Anne's Church in Browns Mills.
Oh, okay.
So we'll have a beautiful Mass and breakfast there for that occasion. And that'll lead us right up into November.
Yeah.
which will be our next adventure.
Yeah.
I want to just mention something. All of us have been, because this is on the news every night. There's something about immigration, and we're all concerned, all of us, about the plight of all immigrants in our country, regardless of their national background or country of origin. We're concerned about it. There's differences of opinion. There's differences of politics that surround this. That's not what I'm interested in talking about. But the diocese has been alerted that a Princeton-based activist group called Resistance in Action New Jersey has been approaching some parish and some parishioners, trying to mobilize parishioners, under the guise of, well, what are the lay folks doing for immigrants? But this is this is not a great thing. What they're trying to do is rouse people up to be in the face of ICE and cause protests and things like that. Well, that's not something that I want to support.
Right.
And when we've been told about it, I've contacted the parishes, because this group, Resistance in Action New Jersey, they're looking for parishes to endorse and support them and their activities. They're a legitimate 501c, so they have status, but they don't need, and we are not giving them status in
They're
the
approaching
church.
the parish offices first?
They're parishioners.
Oh, just outside of,
Yeah, they'll see parishioners and
Okay.
and get them to try to get their pastors or their priests involved.
I see. Okay.
And people tend to just say, "Oh, it's Hispanics." They're not just Hispanics. We have immigrants of every persuasion,
Right.
and so I've asked the pastors, having consulted with a number of people who are very prominent in the immigration movement, about them, and they say, "Stay away.
Really?
Don't let them in. They're trouble."
Yeah.
And so I've asked the pastors and the parishes to, if they come, if they approach, don't get involved with them, and don't bring them into our facilities, into our parish properties, or anything like that. I have to do that every once in a while because I'll hear of, and there are other times there are groups that are coming, and they'll come in under the guise of evangelization and preaching.
Yeah.
And they're not legitimate, but they claim to be legitimate. I had one group one time, and they said that they had the endorsement of Cardinal O'Malley, the Archbishop of Boston at the time. So I know him very well. I've known him for a million years. So I called him and I said, "Sean, this group claims to have your endorsement." He says, "What group?" And I gave him the name. He said, "I'd never heard of them." So, there's a lot of stuff like this that happens.
Right.
You have to be very, very careful and very, very cautious when groups come in. We're doing our best to be of support to our immigrant populations. We encourage them to continue to go to Mass, to continue to go to school, have their children go to school, but they have to do what they're comfortable doing and what they feel safe doing. So, God bless them. We're not. By saying this, I'm not trying to say we shouldn't support them, but we shouldn't support groups that are taking advantage of them,
Right.
and that are going to cause problems, rather than be of help or a
Yeah.
solution. So I just wanted to say that here. Who knows? Maybe I'll get a million letters or something like that, but that's the way life is.
Mention the name of the group again?
Resistance. Oh, here, let me see. I have it here on paper. Resistance in Action, New Jersey.
Okay.
Resistencia en Acción, New Jersey.
Okay.
You can go to the internet. The internet is a little misleading about this group, but stay away.
Yeah. Well, too, you mentioned as far as what to believe, what not to believe. Holy Father even talked about it this week about AI. I've seen some of these videos on YouTube and other media sources where it looks like an actual person saying an actual thing, and it's totally false. It's totally made up.
Yeah, well, they have one of him falling down steps.
That's what he mentioned that. Yeah, he said, "I never fell down the stairs."
He said, I never was on those steps.
That's right.
To fall them down. But it's his face, it's his body.
Yep.
I just wrote an essay on AI, which will
Yeah.
be coming out sooner or later in the diocese and the media. There's an opportunity to do some good here. But, of course, always there's an opportunity for evil.
Yeah.
and we have to be very, very careful about this. I'm in the process of trying to get some kind of a program or something together to make a presentation to the priests
Mm-hmm.
about this because, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere.
And it
It's
seems
not.
to have just exploded all of a sudden. It's all over the place. I mean, I don't know how they develop these programs, but my goodness.
AI has no soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't forgive.
Right.
It can't yield grace.
Mm-hmm.
It can't love. So it can be a tool, an algorithm that's a tool for us.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as we use it as a tool, but never lose our own our personality and our
Mhm.
humanity,
Yeah.
we just have to be very, very careful of this. You know, I hear very dreadful predictions about how this could eventually just take over everything. And that's a frightening thought.
Yeah.
It can be useful. It's like when the Google first started.
Mhm. Yeah.
That was great because you could find out if you wanted information or you didn't know it, and you can go to the library and you don't have
Right.
you Google it, and then everything comes up about it, and you
Yep.
can learn. Well, the AI is the same.
Yeah.
You can find what's this AI? And there's another one. It's
Chat GPT.
Yeah, chat, and it can be useful. Even for us. We write something and we want to polish it up a little bit, and get some help from there. That's a good thing.
Yeah, like a personal assistant.
Yeah. But don't surrender to it.
Right.
Don't
Well, that's the scary thing with young people, with children, especially school-age kids, that as far as writing essays and book reports and things, that they're not using their brains. They're just doing this Chat GPT thing. And
they
get-
put it in and get
Yeah.
like a term paper or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. Huh?
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
just,
I heard something about that, about someone's doctoral dissertation. And they found out that it was AI. I don't know how they find out because I don't think the AI identifies whoever is on the other end of it. Is it a machine?
I don't know what it is. I tell you what, I'll be honest with you. I did, my son introduced me to, I had never heard of Chat GPT, and he said, yeah. And he was explaining it, and I said, looking at it, it could be used, as I said, as a personal assistant. You like if you write something and put it in there, it'll make some corrections, or you ask it.
Edit it.
So out of curiosity, I said, I asked the thing, Chat GPT, I typed in, I said, who is Jim Manfredonia? And it gave this biography. I mean, within seconds, knew what school I went to, knew what I do now. And then at the end, it says, sadly, Jim Manfredonia passed away in May of 2023.
I did the same thing. Great minds think alike. I put my own name in that.
Yeah.
And, I think, what can you tell me about Bishop David O'Connell?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Of Trenton,
Of
because
Trenton,
there was
right.
another
In L.A., yeah.
O'Connell who died. And it did the same thing, but it was riddled with error.
Oh, it was?
Dates.
Oh, okay.
And, places. And it also said that I was dead.
Okay.
So
Then I said, okay, I don't know how much. It's like the Twilight Zone all of a sudden.
yeah, so it's not. And it does put a caveat on it, a disclaimer,
Yes.
It makes mistakes.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
that's
So,
important.
but it was.
So it's not-
it got me down pretty good until the death thing.
It's
but
not perfect,
No.
It's not perfect.
No, I'm still here.
But we have to be cautious.
That's
Any
right.
New thing,
Well, that's what they said. I think, especially with younger children, and there was an issue there too. I think with the young person where this individual kind of formed a relationship with this Chat GPT.
Oh, I saw that. I saw an
Yeah.
article about
Yes.
that. And they had a percentage, so many percentages of those under 18 that have developed a romantic relationship with AI, with the AI or chat or
yeah,
whatever it is.
mhm.
And I'm saying, how is that possible?
Yeah.
And it's what they do is they just have conversations. And they go
conversation.
back and forth and
Yeah.
share things or
Yeah.
intimate things or something like
And
that.
we have, and because we're on, we put our broadcasts on the Amazon Echo devices and the Google Home Assistant devices. So we have Amazon Echo, and they've just upgraded Amazon Echo device where you can literally converse with it. It's you used to say Alexa, give me this, and I always had to say Alexa. That was the key word. Now you just say that once you converse, you can ask questions as you're talking to a person.
Oh, wow.
Correct that, please. for me.
What is that?
It's the Amazon Echo device. They
Oh,
make.
yeah. Yeah, I have it at home. Alexa, play
Yes.
Bach.
Right, exactly.
Alexa,
Stuff
play.
like that. Yeah. Well, now it takes it a step further where you can say, Alexa, what's the weather down the shore today, Jersey Shore, and it'll start, and and then you can continue. Say, well, what about this town? Or it literally goes back and forth. It converses with you, which there too, you're thinking, okay, well, who is this thing? What is this thing that's give me information and talking to
I
me?
wonder if it's recording your conversations.
You don't know. That's
You
the
don't
scary
know.
thing.
Yeah,
don't know,
when
right?
you're at home, you're talking, and
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not like when we grew up, sitting under a tree all summer long, enjoying the sunshine. Where today kids, but they're becoming so isolated with this stuff. It's just them and the machine, the child, the young person, and the device.
Well, that's not good.
No, not at
that
all.
is not
Not at all. The
I wonder
social.
if parents are getting concerned about
Well,
it.
it's interesting because our oldest granddaughter, she'll be 9, and I asked my son, I said, do kids have phones? That they're in 2nd, 3rd grade? He said, yes, some of them do. Now, they wouldn't let her have a phone, but some of these kids are already exposed to this stuff at 8, 9 years old.
Some parents won't allow.
Yeah, no, my
children to have
son, no, they can't do that.
a cell phone. On the one hand, you say to yourself, well, in the world we live in, that they would be able to have access to us, to the phone, and to us, their parents or to whoever. That's a good thing. But then,
Well, there was a big thing about that. They were, I forget what school system it was, where they're telling the kids no more phones in school.
well, in New Jersey, there's
Was it-
one very big school system.
Well, what if I have to get in touch with my child? Call the office. And that's
You know
we
what?
did.
You know what I heard? One of the schools did. They didn't ban them, but what they do is they have a box,
Mm-hmm.
and when you go into,
Right.
you put the phone in the box.
Yep.
And then at the end of the day, when you leave, or
Right.
your lunch period,
Mhm.
or whatever, you take the phone out. But you have to. You can't have it in the classroom.
Right.
While you're there. So, who knows? The whole world is. The world, it really is becomes more different every day
Yeah.
with all the things that are.
And trying to keep up with it, and even on a spiritual level, as far as the church goes. I'm glad that our church does that. Like our Holy Father now, he's directly talking about AI and things. It's not like he's in a bubble. He's right there and he understands what's going on and making statements about these things.
There is there's one there's something that's called Magisterium AI,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Catholic oriented and
Really?
doctrine and all of that stuff.
Oh, really?
I heard about it. I haven't used it, but I heard about it.
Huh.
Maybe I should try it after the show. I'll go home and see what it's all about.
I mean, with stuff like that, okay, then that could be, as long as it's legitimate and you can trust it. Like I said I was doing my program and I was telling people, so many people will see something on social media and right away take it as fact.
I know it.
And then forward it, and it's like wildfire. And don't do that because you don't know where that's coming from,
Really?
what the source is, or what the truth is.
We have in the diocese we have a Facebook. I don't have a Facebook account.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to consult the diocesan Facebook, you'll get maybe 2 stories, and then it'll shut off and say, make an account.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and it was the same thing when I was in Washington when all this stuff was getting started. I forget what the name of the thing, but the kids were demanding that I be available, every minute of the day on this
Yeah.
crazy stuff, and just, I'm not that smart when it comes to technology.
Mm-hmm.
I know how to use it. I spend, honestly, unlike in the past, I would say 80% of the day is either on the computer or the cell phone,
Right.
answering messages or writing things
Right.
or
Right.
talking to people.
Right.
And that's a lot
We're
of
so
time.
dependent on this technology.
You become
now.
dependent on
Yeah.
it, really.
Yeah.
And I almost don't even remember what it was like not to have it.
Right. Yeah. And
Looking back.
what do you do if you can't find your phone? People. I mean, I too. So where's my phone? Because
Well,
everything.
That's a regular for me. I've left my phone in the shelf in the ice box.
Oh boy.
I've dropped the phone in the dishwater in the
Uh,
sink when I'm doing dishes.
Wow.
I did that one time. I filled the sink up, for the dish and the soap and all.
Mhm.
And then I went away for a minute, and I knocked the phone into the sink, and I'm hearing this ringing, and I'm looking for the phone. I said, where did I put the phone? I couldn't find the phone,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just happened to walk over to the sink,
Yeah.
and I saw it at the bottom of the sink. Crazy stuff.
It is, but we're so dependent on it now. And as you said, it used to be, you want to find something out, you need some information right away. Got to go to the library, go find an encyclopedia, look it up.
Yeah, it's right there.
It's right there
at
at your
phone.
fingertip. Yeah.
You know, I have by my chair in the TV room in my house. I have the, what do you call it? iPad.
Mm-hmm.
Is it iPad?
Yeah.
iPad.
iPad.
And it's iPhone.
Yeah.
But the iPad, and like I see someone on the TV, or I'll hear something in the news, and then I'll pick it up and I'll Google it, just to
Right.
find more about it,
Right.
something interesting.
Yeah.
You get the news.
Yeah.
Anyway.
You know what? That's where we are right now, and and I too have read something I read a while back, but it said that by the year 2035, artificial intelligence will surpass the human brain. I mean, it'll take over. It'll become.
How can that be? I don't understand how that happens.
I have no idea.
I wonder how
I'm not like you, not very technological, but
Yeah.
how it happens, I don't know, and where it comes from, I don't know. But which is dangerous because again, it can be used for very good, but we know that the devil can get involved. I mean, this technology and the things that are available to young people.
Something new,
Right?
the devil will be right there.
That's right, and can use it. And in fact, I was talking to literally Monsignor Stephen Rossetti, who's an American exorcist.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, who said that the devil uses technology. I mean, he will literally get into it.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Stephen Rossetti,
Mm-hmm.
was the last faculty member I hired at Catholic
Oh,
University.
really?
Before I left there to come to Trenton.
Okay.
Now he's a psychologist,
Right,
and
right.
a priest psychologist, and he's quite competent and quite good. He was the head of St. Luke's Institute in Suitland, Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of those places for troubled priests and religious,
Mm-hmm.
drinking
Right.
or whatever, some
Right.
sexual abuse,
Right.
some of these other things. And he was the head of it for many years.
Mhm.
And then he retired from there and came to Catholic U to work, and he was teaching there.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's taken a complete kind of a turn in his career, and he's focused on this deliverance ministry
Right.
and exorcism and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I think he's written several
Yeah,
books.
we had him on. He has a recent book, The Diary of an American Exorcist. He has CatholicExorcism.org, and he has actually once a month on YouTube a free webinar where he does a deliverance, prayer deliverance, prayer session.
I had him come a couple of years ago. I forget when it was. God, now I'm here 15 years. I forget. 1 year melts into the other.
Right.
But I had him come talk to our priest. He wrote a book called Why Are Priests Happy?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great little book. And so he came and talked to our priest.
Yeah.
He didn't talk about this. He wasn't really that involved in this
Mm-hmm.
at that time. But he gave a great talk. He's a
Yeah.
good guy, a good
Yeah.
man, good priest.
Now, is it true that every diocese has an exorcist?
No.
No.
Well, I don't have one.
You don't?
No. And, many dioceses do. The Archdiocese of Philadelphia had someone appointed.
Mm-hmm.
The Diocese of New York had someone appointed.
Would that be the bishop who would do that?
Oh, yeah, it has to
Yeah.
be the bishop.
Okay. I mean, it wouldn't come from Rome. Would be the
Yeah,
actual
yeah.
local ordinary.
It has to be the bishop.
Yeah.
You can't have an exorcism without the bishop's approval.
Mhm.
And we get calls in the diocese. I wrote something up maybe about 11, 12 years ago, which I have handy and I give to our public relations and our media people. And it's what Rome requires for exorcism. And when people call, and they do call, we do get
No, I believe it.
lots
Yeah.
of calls. And I always say, I've noticed over the years, you get a lot of calls for exorcism around Halloween,
Yeah.
or when the movie The Exorcist or one of those movies goes on TV.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, then you can count on it that week to get a couple calls.
Right.
Some people just, like they'll call about their children, and the children is cursing or the child is doing something, and their first impulse is to seek an exorcist,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a process to be followed in, in an examination and evaluation, and I follow that very, very strictly.
Mm-hmm.
If I discern that the cause is legitimate,
Mm-hmm.
and I have only had one case in 15 years that I thought was a legitimate case. I think I even talked to Rossetti maybe about this particular case, but Father Rossetti, Monsignor Rossetti. But it's really
I mean, actual, possession is rare. I mean, it's not like
it
it's
happens.
Yeah, it
It
happens, but
happens.
it's rare.
Yeah, but you have to evaluate it very, very carefully.
Mm-hmm.
And the first person involved is your pastor.
Mm-hmm.
You have to contact the pastor. The pastor is asked to visit the home and the person who is the subject of this. He's got to make some sort of evaluation of the situation. But part of the process requires that the person has a physical examination, medical examination, and a psychological evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
The minute you tell them that they have to have a psychological evaluation, that's the last year for them. And so it's interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
But it does happen. I mean,
It happens. Sure.
Jesus cast out devils. I mean, he was
The devil's around.
right.
I mean, we may not be possession the way the movies
Right.
portray it, but he's around.
Yeah, evil exists. There is
Pray the prayer to Saint Michael the Archangel.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
But you're right. I think that people, when they see a movie or they read about this, that they become a bit more, self-conscious and think maybe I am possessed.
I'm scared to death of this. And I would not want to be an exorcist or something like that. And there was somebody out in Colorado, I think. He's a famous priest, and he makes himself available for consultation when bishops have some concerns. I've called him in some of these cases. As again, I feel sorry for people. I pray for them, but every case is not a legitimate case of exorcism.
No.
And Rossetti, Monsignor Rossetti, and others will say that.
Exactly. Yeah. Because he himself is a psychologist. He may even talks about that.
Yeah.
There are.
He lives in Washington.
Yeah.
He lives
Yeah.
I haven't seen him for a couple of years, but a good priest.
Yeah, and he's been doing good work with this particular. It's a deliverance prayer hour, and it's beautiful. I mean,
I've never heard of it.
Yeah, he does a good job, and I don't know how many thousands of people tune in, but it's free. And Cheryl and I have done it. Because we've had him on the program, and he wrote the book.
Have you met him?
Not personally, no.
Yeah, he's
no.
a nice man.
Yeah.
Very, very nice man. I think maybe he's a little bit younger than me. Than us, I should say.
Yes.
We were both in that same category.
Yes.
Anything else going on? Any other interesting stuff?
No, no. I think you've covered a good gamut. Do you have the bishops' meeting next month in Washington?
Oh, you had to remind me. I just registered for it yesterday. Yeah, it's November. Well, I'm on this committee for Catholic education. I'm the chair of this committee,
Right.
so I have to go early because we have a committee meeting before the general meeting, and so we'll do that. I think I'm going down like the 8th of November, committee meeting, and Sunday, then Monday the general meeting starts. So I just registered yesterday for the general meeting and for the hotel. And you look at the agenda, and I can't tell you what items are there. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot. I mean, everybody wants to get up and give a report.
Yeah.
Every committee wants to give. You have 20 minutes of the. So, at the I'm also on the administrative board of the U.S. bishops, and so that's the group that makes a decision about what's on the agenda and who's speaking and so on and so forth. And they change kind of the format of it a little bit. And you remember, you probably have seen it on TV, where everybody's sitting in the big room at tables and one after another get up and make their. Well, now you're at round tables. There's more of a prayer element to it. Of course, there's Mass every day and prayers, morning prayers, Divine Office, morning and Vespers and Lauds. But now incorporated into the day would be what they call fraternal dialogues. So there's different folks. It's like you pick out a name and there's a session. There's like 13 sessions, going on at the same time, and you get questions, and you're supposed to dialogue
Oh.
fraternally with your brother bishops and so on. And yeah, and then there's a lot of different things that are part and parcel of the meetings in the last couple of years than previously.
Well, we'll look forward to a full report.
Full report, you'll see it, you'll get it,
All right.
in all the detail.
All right. We'll look forward to that. Bishop. Thanks for coming by. We'll look forward to next month, and
Beautiful.
have a great October.
Thanks a lot. You too. God bless you, everybody.